Hello, you're listening to Tony Slattery's Rambling Club, and you're most welcome.
Well, it's Friday, it's 5 to 5, and that means that the doors to Tony Slattery's Rambling Club are open once again. Hello, my name's Paul Carmichael.
And I'm Allan Leo.
And I don't know about where you are listening at home, but right now we're in the middle of a heat wave in the village, aren't we, Allan? How are you coping?
I'm struck down, paralysed with this terrible heat. I'm sweated half my body weight off, which is, judging by my double chin on this camera, probably a good thing. But I can't even move. It's awful.
It is quite something, isn't it? And of course, the worst thing is it's been affecting the electrics in the shed. We've been having the odd spark here and there, and obviously with Tony having been on the toilet now for about, 9-10 months, there is the worry about the mixture of electricity and water, isn't there?
Yes, and the condensation on the walls dripping through the light fitting. And I think Tony actually plumbed this place in himself, so he's probably, being the world's second least practical man after me, he's probably plumbed the electricity and the water in backwards anyway. All the taps go through the light fittings and vice versa.
It's quite possibly has, but luckily enough, what we made sure we did was before we... Allan, there's a knock at the door. Do you want to see who that is? Because this could be exactly who we need.
Good idea. Hello, can I help you?
Yeah, it's John. I'm an electrician. I've come round to check your electricity. I believe it's not working properly.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Come on in out of this cruel sun.
Oh, yeah. That's better. Oh. The air conditioning here, mate. I can fix air conditioning in for you anytime you want. Okay, it only costs you about $2,000.
Oh, that sounds absolutely perfect, because right now nothing's functioning at all in here. Everything seems to be breaking down. But hold on a moment. Is that John McArdle?
I'm afraid so, mate. I'm not an electrician, really, but, I can pretend I'm not.
Oh, John, do you know what? It's lovely to see you. It's lovely to have you in the shed, but I do think that maybe with the problems that we've got here, we might actually need someone a bit more qualified. But as you're here, well, what Allan and I normally do at this point on a Friday is we give the old bingo machine a bit of a whirl, just make sure it's all in good working order. There's no electric parts or anything.
Yes. Great.
So maybe you'd like to come with us for an hour. How do you fancy that to kill some time on this?
Yeah, why not? While I'm here, let's go.
Why not? Okay, let's give her a whirl and see where they drop. Off we go.
Yeah. Wonderful. I'll fetch the parasols.
And some drinks, please.
Tony's enchanted bingo machine. A curious contraption of cogs, levers, and glowing buttons that hums with ominous energy. This machine generates 3 completely random numbers. These numbers are fed directly into the Dewey Decimal System, the arcane reference system by which books and their contents are categorized. In this way, the bingo machine conjures from thin air a topic of conversation so enthralling, so wildly unexpected, that it leaves the members of the Rambling Club both bewildered and vaguely excited. Thus, another evening is saved from the brink of boredom, thanks to Tony's marvellous, possibly haunted and entirely inexplicable bingo machine.
Well, here we are in our first location with our first set of numbers and our guest president, John McArdle, on this incredibly warm day. And those first numbers are...
3, 7, 2.
372, 372. And that means if we just top the tap of the machine here, we can see the subject is... elementary education. Elementary education. Well, I suppose we all had an elementary education. The nursery that my boys went to here, which was absolutely brilliant, is closing down after about 35 years. And it's really quite sad. And what they're saying is they just can't find the staff who are prepared to do the job because it is demanding. Pay's not great, which I imagine is the same for all the world over at the moment.
Yeah. Of course. My education was varied in a way because I was brought up with an army family. So we left Liverpool when I was about 8 or 9 and went to Hong Kong. So I lived in Hong Kong for 3 years and I was educated in a sort of a multinational school, English speaking multinational. So there was Americans and people like that. So I was there for 3.5 years. Then I came back and my dad was stationed somewhere else. But eventually I ended up in St. Bede's in Ormskirk, secondary modern school. Where I finished my education, leaving with no qualifications whatsoever, gaining them later, but couldn't wait to get out of school, really, mate.
Yeah. But so, because you went to East 15, didn't you? Were you the first person in your family to train as an actor or to have anything to do with theatre?
Exactly, yeah. The thing was, the only thing I was good at school was English, and I loved reading, and I loved even reading Shakespeare, which everyone thought I was odd. This guy's odd. And anyway, I got in the school play through the English teacher. And I played the lead in this play. And because I'd had experience of mixing with all classes of people, they cast me as this officer in Captain Bligh on Mutiny on the Bounty. Anyway, it was a big hit. And then everyone in the school knew who I was then. They never knew who I was before. I got this instant recognition. Probably my first a bit of fame, really, within that small circle. And Mr. Meatball Mason was the name of the teacher, Meatball. He said, "John, you should become an actor, mate." He said, you've got what it takes. And I said, not in my family, very working class. My dad was a sergeant. So I went off and did building work and all sorts of different jobs until eventually, when I got to the age of 25, a mate of mine from Southport said, "I'm at East 15 doing an acting course." And I said, how'd you do that? He said, "You need 5 O levels to get in." So I went to night school, got me 5 O levels, and then applied to drama school and got into East 15, which was the best 3 years of my life. Loved it.
And because East 15, it's quite a contemporary place to train, isn't it, really?
Well, it's based on a method school of acting, a bit like the New York one, the Strasbourg one in New York, where you can take it or leave it, because you can take it a bit too far if you do this method acting lark, because you take it home with you and stuff like that. But I used to just join in with it and take what I wanted, from it, and the stuff I didn't need I just threw to one side. But it was such a great training ground, because you learn how to fail. You learn I wasn't good at singing, so I found that out at drama school, not when I was out in the working world. And teaching you skills like sword fighting and acrobatics and all sorts of side skills that contribute to theatre work. So it was a good all-round education. It wasn't a degree then; it was a diploma. So I got a diploma in speech and drama.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. But I mean, thinking about your sort of early education then, I suppose. So do you not have any of those tropes that we all have about how education was sort of you would stand in lines, you go in, you do assembly? Were there any of those similarities when you were abroad?
No, abroad it was so much easier, especially in Hong Kong. I think you went to school about 8 o'clock and you finished by about 1. And that was it for the rest of the day. We used to go down the beach for the rest of the afternoon. Because of the heat, especially in the summer, you'd only school for about, there was no 11 plus either. So I didn't take the 11 plus because I was just reaching 11 when we were leaving. So I didn't know whether I could have gone to grammar school or not because I didn't take it. I just went into straight secondary modern. So yeah, it was a different type. And then one of the other places we went to was the Isle of Wight. We were there for 2 years. So the thing is, you have to, as a kid, joining new schools all the time, you have to adapt the accent of that area. Yes. So you're talking like that, they talk a bit like, Cornishmen and that in the Isle of Wight. So you have to try and fit in every school you went to, It wasn't so bad in Hong Kong because there was a multi range of accents and
because it was international students.
Yeah. So it was weird because I lost my Liverpool accent along the way, and then I didn't play a Scouse part until, this is a big secret that I'm revealing to you guys, right? I was first cast in Brookside as Sweeney Todd. He was a teacher called Mr. Todd. And so they'd seen me on stage doing something and they said, we'd like him to play because he sounds like a posh sort of, he's from some Southport. Anyway, when the role of Billy Corkhill was coming up and it described what he was like, I actually went into the interview like, all right, lad, what's going on, like, all right? I was going there, what do I have to do and all that? And it was like, I went down, it went back to my roots and it came through. But I had to keep it up for ages and ages, even when I got the job. And then I sort of relaxed back into my own accent. And Phil Redmond went, are you from Liverpool, John? I went, yeah, I was just born here, like, you know what I mean? But you know, and everyone, when they see, you know, they say you're nothing like Billy at all. And I went, well, part of me is. I based him on my brother, who's so scout, it's unbelievable. So I based him on Rory.
So is that part of the method acting coming in there, even down to that audition?
I think it was. I think that, because I went in with the leather jacket, jeans, you know, and a bit rough and ready, and I was, we had to improvise, which was great because I love improvisation. That's what I liked about Mr. Slattery. He was the top man in improvisation.
Oh yeah, he was.
So that's, you know, so. And even one of my first jobs when I left drama school was at a theatre company called Triple Action Theatre Company, and they did improvisation, live improv.
Yeah.
So that's why I loved Tony's show. I loved him.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I get the chance here to ask you about something that's incredibly personal, I think, because I'm thinking about back at school when I was in Mospits Lane County Primary in Liverpool, and every couple of days you'd get taken into the hall, you'd sit in rows, cross-legged, and they'd wheel the telly out, right? Now, It's possible that you will not remember a thing about this, John, but were you in How We Used to Live?
I was.
Wow.
My wife was a regular in it, and I did a guest appearance. My wife was a regular in How We Used to Live, Kathy, and I came and played a doctor, funny enough. Yeah.
And it was the flu storyline, wasn't it? And I remember that.
Yeah.
God, that was brilliant because for me, that was the sort of television that really did its job because it did the whole educate, inform, entertain. And it made it so relatable because my Nanadad flew recently to see that. It taught me.
And the standard was very high because a lot of those actors that have come from that, you know, Peter Howitt, for one, who wrote Sliding Doors and was in Bread and stuff like that, the acting was excellent. And I remember once we were in Florida or somewhere, and I'd been in Brookside for a while, but my wife had been doing How We Used to Live, and these people called me across because I was in the swimming pool, and I went towards them thinking, they want my autograph. So I swam towards them, and they went, see that woman over there? Was she in How We Used to Live? And I went, yeah.
My wife was talking about that as well just before we came on, and it's interesting, isn't it? You were talking about the quality of the acting one, because sometimes, you know, there's a feeling of, it's good enough for kids.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But when it's done properly, it really does stay with you for life.
Yeah, I mean that's it, because the standard was so high. It won awards, and it was repeated constantly because of the different periods, wasn't that? It covered quite a few periods.
And it is that thing because I think it's so linked. If I think How We Used to Live, it's 1985, Mospits Lane school tie. Yeah. The smell of the room, the sound of the telly being wheeled in. It's just that whole ontological thing. It's absolutely planted, isn't it?
Wait till I tell Kath, my wife, she'll be made up that you've is it? Yeah.
During lockdown, my wife and I watched most of them. We just did a big watch. It was brilliant. So, I mean, education-wise then. So, in terms of East 15... Did your education sort of stop there? Are you someone who thinks that you keep learning all the time?
Oh, definitely. I when I'm not working, I learn a Shakespeare speech every month, just a new one. I'm on one at the moment. Once More Onto the Breach, and I'm starting to learn that again. But so I like to keep my mind going. Now that I'm getting on, you know, I like to keep my mind active and alive, and so both my kids are really well educated, more than I was, and I envied them in a way because my son's got a master's in English literature, and my daughter at the age of 43, and she's got 3 kids on her own. She's just got a degree in education and a first as well. So I was made up for them. To me, that's more than anything I could have achieved, I think.
That's a hell of an achievement, isn't it? To achieve that well, at that higher standard, at a degree level, while you're also the head of the family.
Yeah, with three little children too. The youngest is 4 and the eldest is 7, and she's on her own. And we help her out when we can. But she just went back into education, and she did it about education, about children with special needs. She specialised in that, and I was quite proud of it. But we're going to a graduation on Monday.
Oh, wonderful. I think, like you, John, I'm just very grateful that there was still that sort of system of night schools when I was needing them as well, because I didn't do that well either. And to get into uni, if there hadn't have been night schools, I wouldn't have made it.
That's where I went to College of Further Education to get my... After I'd come work, I'd go into the college and do my O-levels and A-levels. Yeah.
Wow.
It was
I
good.
don't know how people manage it. I mean, there's online learning, obviously, but even that, the OU and what have you, that is not cheap.
No, it's not. You're right. It isn't at all.
Well, here we are, location number 2, and a second set of numbers with our guest president, John McArdle. And the second set of numbers are...
3, 3, 0.
330, 330, and that means the subject is... economics.
Oh my God.
Blimey, economics.
Now, by a strange coincidence, I did my economics A-level,
Oh, thank God.
and I don't remember a thing about it because the summer I was doing it was the Euros.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the Euros or the World Cup 1998? It would have been World Cup. So, whenever we had a double economics lesson, that tended to coincide with an England game. And because our economics teacher was a sports teacher who was economics just because there's nobody else doing it, he just wheeled the big telly in, as with all listeners, and we just watched England lose at a
Great economics lesson.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant.
I learned nothing at all.
Yeah. But in terms of economics, I mean, I think something that obviously, in terms of we can't not talk about Brookside, and it put Liverpool on the map at a time when I remember it was run down. It was a very sad place to live in. It seemed like a brave decision to, put that front and centre. It was a brand new channel when it started as well, and to do it in such an interesting way as well, because I presume at the time it was very rare for a TV show to be shot all on location, because there was no actual studio as such, was there, on Brookie?
No, it's the very first long-running drama or soap to shoot on single camera, right? So it's like shooting on film all the time.
It wasn't even multi-camera; it was single.
No multi-camera at all.
Wow.
Loads of setups, but they were very. The crew were fantastic. Everybody there was, but it was so if they wanted a shot of you at the sink and they wanted the shot facing, they'd cut a hole in the wall on the other side of the wall so that you could see you at the sink. They just get the saw out and cut out a hole in the wall, and they do stuff like that. They just adapt it, to how they wanted to shoot. So it was a very unique way of shooting, and I learned so much. But the good, like you said at the beginning, it brought so much work to people in Liverpool, as apart from crew, the canteen ladies, the cleaners, the electricians, everybody. It brought so much work. One of those directors, just one of them, went on to shoot Breaking Bad, an ex-Brookie cameraman called Terry McDonough. And Terry was an assistant cameraman when I started, and then he became a Steadicam cameraman. Then he left and started directing, and I worked with him he directed Peak Practice, and I did one for him. Anyway, I was watching Breaking Bad one night, and when it first came out, and I saw the director, Terry McDonough. So I phoned him up. I said, Terry, there's an American with your name over there. And he went, no, that was me, John. That was me. He was from Cancel Farm. And I went, you directed that? And you know who he cast? Saul. He cast Saul.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, he actually, he was in on it with the directors, producers.
Guy's name? Odenkirk.
That's it.
Because he was a comedian. He wasn't known as a dress actor. Yeah. And he's phenomenal. I mean, so good they gave him his own spin-off, but he's phenomenal in Breaking.
Exactly. Yeah. So Terry cast him. So there's a lad from Brookside, from Cancel Farm, who
Wow.
is doing, renowned stuff. And there's people spun off and become producers. And I look at Sue Johnson, I look at Ricky, look at all the other people that have spun off from Brookside. It gave me a start, and so thankful for doing 5 years on that program. Yeah,
and it gave you a hell of a lot of material to work with, didn't it? Because I remember I watched it avidly up until I was about 17 or so, and I remember the nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
And I remember you driving over all the gardens, and what I loved about it was it didn't feel like setups. Watching it felt a bit dangerous, like it was point the camera and see what you get.
It was, because we rehearsed it twice. It was all in one shot, Steadicam. Started in the house, came out. I lost the keys in the dirt, right? So that panic was real panic, looking for the keys in the dirt. And then when I got the keys and tried to put the key, because I couldn't stop, I had to keep going because we'd have to start the way back. And then the key, because all the dirt on the keys, it wouldn't go any ignition, and I was really giving it this, and getting wilder and wilder. There was a cameraman in the footwell in the passenger's side, so he could look up. And the director had said at the beginning, just churn this place up, John. Just go for it. Churn it up. We'll say cut when we finish. And Jim McGovern's line was, you can have my wife for the fiver, I'm only a goalie. And he said, that's the only line I had in there, but I added some more as we were going round, because they hadn't shouted cut. I went, come on, look at me. And it was all that. Anyway, I loved it. I loved doing that, and I got a lot of feedback. But the best feedback I got was, it was on the South Bank show. And it was because it was during the time of Thatcher's Britain, Thatcher was still in.
Yeah.
And it was saying, this is what happens to working men. This is what could happen to working men because of her policies and because of the state of, in Liverpool, especially at the time, with unemployment. Yeah, Jimmy was on as well. Jimmy McGovern was talking about it as well. So they picked that clip, which was amazing.
No stuntman then, that's all you.
No stuntman, no, not at all.
God.
No.
It was a phenomenal series, wasn't it, Brookside? I remember it was in the papers, because my dad got the Mirror, and the Mirror loved Brookie.
Yeah,
they took the Mail, and the Mail didn't. I remember that big slot.
No, he didn't like it at all. Funny enough, my mother lived in Huyton, and it's only 2 miles from the set. So when I wasn't, if I was working a bit late, this is a great story. If you got time.
Oh yeah.
Well, across from my mum is a pub called the Oak Tree, and taxis park up there and everything. And I was a bit late one morning, and I thought I was going to jump in a cab, so I jumped in the back of this car, like. He said, "What are you doing, mate?" I said, "The Brookside." He went, "Oh, all right." So he drives me. I get there. I go, "How much?" He goes, "I'm not a taxi." And I go, "What do you mean?" He went, "I was just sitting in my car waiting for my bed." He said, and Billy Corkhill gets in the back and he says, "Take me to Brookside, you do, don't you?" So I went, "I'm sorry, mate. It's a few bob." And he went, No. He said, "I'm just made up that you got in my car." I said,
"Oh, that's brilliant." And there was a time as well, wasn't there, when not you, but Brookie got into trouble, if I'm right, because you showed a condom on screen.
Oh, right, yeah.
And the IBA, the Independent Broadcasting Authority, they were up in arms about that.
Yeah.
And someone pointed out it was on screen for 1.8 seconds. And then they contacted Phil Redmond, and I thought they were basically sort of trying to hold him to account. And he said, "I'm promoting safe sex when we've got AIDS. What's wrong with that?"
Yeah.
They backed down, but it had such a social awareness, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the issues they dealt with, like first female kiss, the first lesbian kiss. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, Phil. Jim.
Anna Friel and Nicola Stevenson. Yeah, Nicola Stevenson. Yeah, I mean, it dealt with all that rape. It dealt with that rape, with Sue Johnson's character. It covered everything and did it really well because of the writers, not just Jimmy as well. Alan Swift was one, Peter Cox. You could name low. I tell you, even cut their teeth there. John Gobber and Jim Cartwright wrote for a while.
Frank Cottrell voice.
Frank did that. Yeah.
God, I didn't realise that Jim Cartwright did.
Yeah, Jim did a few episodes, yeah. And of course,
I knew Morris Bestman for a bit. Morris Bestman did.
Yeah, Morris.
Yeah, he's a lovely bloke, yeah. Wow.
Kay Mellor, she started a writing career on Brookside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And then, so what was it then about you as an actor? Because that is phenomenally successful, and you know, everyone loved Billy Corkhill. Everyone knew a Billy. That's the thing. I had two uncles who were Billy Corkhill, basically.
Yeah.
But what was it that makes you go, I'm going to leave this? And then, because you went into the theatre, a two-person tour, didn't you?
With Sue, Sue and I. Jim wrote a play for us, yeah.
What? And that was two?
Two, yeah.
Which, I mean, is a phenomenal play. It's God knows how many times that gets played a year, especially around Liverpool. But
yeah,
what was it that made you think, no, now's the time to walk away?
Well, I was relatively... I wanted to spread my acting wings out. I was safe in the soap. I was safe. You're getting regular money. It's not good money by any means, but it was regular. So you have that. You think you're doing something you love and you're getting paid well for it. So, but I became an actor to play different characters and work with different people. So when Jim wrote that play for us, and we took it to the Edinburgh Fringe, and then we took it to London. We did it in London for 3 months. And then I decided to leave, and then Sue said, I'm going to leave then. And I went, all right. So Sue and I left at the same time. And the thing is, I used to ask a few directors, I said, if I leave Brookside and you're acting and you're directing out there, would you employ me? Am I not typecast? And this one guy, Richard Spence, said, no. Says, so the first job I got, film-wise, was a film, TV film. He directed, and I played Samantha Bond's boyfriend, which was amazing. You know what I mean? From Billy to play a middle-class sort of estate agent guy. So, and I got a few jobs that, you know, he gave me another job, that guy, later, in a thing called Scaligree.
Oh, what? Based on the children's novel?
Yeah.
William Compton, is it?
That's the one, yeah.
That is a great children's book.
Well, the film, Bernard Hill was in it, there's Billy Whitelaw. I had a great part in it. I worked with my hero, Ian Drury. Ian Drury was in it too. Yeah, I played the sort of abusive carer, the guy. Yeah. It was a horrible character. But yeah, Scaligree, brilliant film. Brilliant.
And then probably quite an early one about children's disability.
Exactly, yeah. The lead people in it were all disabled, and one particular actor, Jamie, I've forgotten his surname yet. It's very difficult to listen to him, but when you tuned into him, he was the wittiest guy I've ever heard. And I remember having a talk with all the other disabled actors. I was the only able-bodied actor in this scene, and one of them said, "You know, when you're on telly, John, do you ever watch yourself?" And I went, "Yeah, but I don't like it." And this Jamie went, "Neither do we." And I went, "You bloody cheesy." He is straight back, yeah. Jamie Bedard, his name is, and he's a disabled actor, got cerebral palsy, but witty as hell, this guy. Witty.
With us talking about economics, I suppose, because obviously, as an actor, is it possible, do you think it's possible to be an actor without a sort of a social conscience and awareness of what's going on in the world? Can you detach from that, or do you have to have that within your work?
I have that anyway in my own, personal life. I know what I believe in, in terms of politics and injustice. The thing about Palestine. My daughter marches for free Palestine and things like that. She's not being anti-Semitic at all. She just cares about those people who are suffering in Gaza. So yeah, I always have that. And the only time I've ever brought it out as an actor was I went on a Clause 28 rally with Sue and Ian McKellen. The only time I went on a rally as me, being an actor and doing it, but I wasn't afraid to. It was a cause that I believed in to abolish. Yeah.
And again, I suppose with a lot of the work, I suppose so much theatre work is rooted, isn't it, in the working class. And in these days, obviously, tickets cost a bloody fortune.
Oh my God, yeah.
But It'd be lovely, wouldn't it, if you could get theatre back to that sort of 1960s thing where it was of the people. Those theatre workshops be great.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But no, the only thing that's near to that at the moment is the Royal Court in Liverpool, where that is theatre for the people, really. Yeah. It's commercial, but it is for, I don't know how much the tickets are there, but it seems to be like a community thing. You know what I mean? It seems it's not for the highbrow. Let's put it that.
No, it's not.
The highbrow costs a lot more. I mean, I went to see that, is it called This Is England? The football theatre. Play. Yeah, that was brilliant. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. And that's one of the reasons why they left us Brookside as well at the time, is I wanted to do a little more theatre. And I did some, it was political theatre that got me into the business in the first place, because I watched a theatre company called 784. And they were around in the 70s and 80s. And I thought, that's quite good, that, because it's got a message in there, about issues that people are going through and stuff. And I think that's a great way of communicating it through theatre, if you can get the audiences. Yeah.
Well, here we are in our third and final location with a third and final set of numbers. And those numbers are
9, 1, 9,
919, 919. And the subject is possibly the strangest thing that's ever come out of this machine. Are you ready for this? This is geography of and travel in Australasia, Pacific Ocean Islands, Atlantic Ocean Islands, Arctic Islands, Antarctica, and on extraterrestrial worlds.
Wow.
I can cover part of it.
Okay, I'll take that. If you can do anything with that, John.
Yeah. I lived in Australia for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I went out when I was 19, before I was an actor. I lived in Sydney. I lived in Bondi for 2 years. And then this is going back to the islands. Then I went and lived on an island in New Guinea, Bougainville Island, in the Solomon Islands in New Guinea, for 6 months. I was on this island. I was working as a scaffolder. They were building a power station in the jungle, right? So we had these wonderful air-conditioned units on this beach with palm trees hanging over the Indian Ocean. Like, beautiful. And it was hot, but it was beautiful for 6 months. So I spent 6 months on the island. They couldn't. The reason why I was on that island is they called me up for Vietnam, because it was 1971 at the time. And if you were a British citizen, you were eligible to be called up into the Australian Army. So and it was a bit like bingo. You know how you're doing bingo now? Yeah. Every Friday night, they would pull out a ball and they'd go, anyone born on the 16th of the 8th, 1950, so-and-so, must register. And mine came up. There was 4 of us. We used to share a flat and we used to watch it because we were all the same age. We were all 19. Yeah. And we were watching it. And when my birthday came up, they went, that's you, John. That's you. And I went, I know. I'm not going. So then I applied for this job in New Guinea. So that's when I went to New Guinea for 6 months. So when I came back to Australia after 6 months, I moved to Perth. And I was in Perth. And all of a sudden, the police knocked on my door. Mr. McArdle, what on this? And I said, I can't go, mate. I said, I get asthma. Now, I'm a conscientious object. I'm a hippie, mate. I'm a hippie. I smoke dope and all that. We don't care. We'll knock that out of you, they said. Anyway, I went for an interview and I was so negative at the interview. I was negative. 3 weeks later, they didn't want me. They didn't want me.
It's quite amusing that they said they'd knocked that out, the dope smoking out of you in Vietnam, which in the most drug-addled.
Exactly. That's why I love Apocalypse Now. It's one of the best movies ever made. But this doesn't stop here, boys. This doesn't stop here. Those lads I shared a flat with, one of them was going back to England, so we went to see him off on the boat. The boat sails from Circular Quay in Sydney, goes to New Zealand, and then the islands, and then off. We got absolutely legless on the boat, so we didn't get off. We sailed with the boat. When we got to New Zealand, we couldn't get off because we didn't have any passports or nothing, because it was all on the spare of the moment. They banged us up, right, in the prison. We got 3 months detention in their maximum security prison. Mount Eden prison. I was in for 3 months. And then deported back to Australia after 3 months. Terrible. 19-year-olds.
Wow.
So that covers my part of the Australia.
That's amazing. I can't can't believe that they would do the call-up almost like a game show. That's amazing. But
it was that how they do it. The Americans did it that way as well. You watch some American shows and it's all bingo balls. Bit like, that's how they did it.
Do you remind me of the FA Cup?
Yeah, it is like the FA Cup. You will play.
Vietnam will play President McArdle at home.
So but since then, I've been back there to work twice. I did a series for Australian television about 10 years ago, and I did a thing called The Place of the Dead, which we filmed where they film Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. We filmed in that jungle about these soldiers. So I got invited back and got paid for it and everything. It's great.
So you were a soldier for Australia in the end?
No, British soldiers.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I mean,
yeah, it's
cool. Can we do anything with extraterrestrial worlds? I mean, that could be pushing it a bit.
I haven't got anything on that except.
No, not really.
It's an incredibly broad topic, isn't it? The Arctic and the Antarctic and everywhere in space.
Well, this is the thing, you see. I think that what's happened is it comes under geography and travel. And so it's like, 914 Europe, 915 Asia, then Africa, then North America,
right.
918 South America. I think they went, shit, we've only got one number left. Throw them all in, including outer space.
Who compiled it? Was it Tony?
Oh, that would make sense if it was. Let's go for one more thing then, which is, because I'm straight, right, here we are. In Australia, Neighbours finished shooting yesterday, and it's one of many soaps that at the moment, John, they aren't doing well, the soaps. I mean, as someone who was in Brookie, when it was getting, 8-9 million viewers an episode, it was doing, for Channel 4, I mean, it was amazing.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, but what's gone wrong, do you think, with the TV industry when suddenly the big soaps like Corrie, they're looking at like 3 million? What's happened, do you think?
They cover that many storylines, don't they? I mean, they have to repeat themselves. They have to in the end. And they have to, and also, a place like Coronation Street does not exist. There's nowhere in Manchester that as a street like that at all. It just doesn't exist at all. It's just not real. So it becomes that. I mean, people get addicted to characters really when they watch soaps. They get addicted to watching. They have favourites and what have you, and they're loyal to them.
Didn't you used to get? I could be totally wrong and confusing with someone else. Didn't you used to get people who would actually write to you as Billy offering you work?
Yeah.
Really?
Lots of when I was out of work as Billy. Yeah, a guy in Northern Ireland offered me a job in his factory as the maintenance electrician.
Oh,
Good, yeah. Sorry, Billy, that you're out of work, but there's plenty here for you. Stuff like that.
what's time for?
It is, and it's fascinating, isn't it? Because people must know that it is a drama, but that the way that characters can become so real. I mean, there was always that thing that he said at ATV, which is they were always getting people applying who wanted to work at the Crossroads Motel as a waitress and that sort of thing. But yeah.
But I think it's weird. But I don't know. I met who was it? I met that. I mean, I've worked with some of my heroes, which is wonderful. And I tried not to be in awe. I tried to step back. The inside I was going, bloody hell. I'm working with Robbie Coltrane, Robbie Carlyle. Got a lot of these really good actors, and some of my leading ladies I've had, as well as Juliet Stevenson in one TV thing I had, and there was and Billy Whitelaw. I mean, I was working opposite her as and she kept saying, "Do you think it's going all right, John?" I went, "You're Billy Whitelaw." I say, "You're Billy Whitelaw." What do you mean? Is it going all right? You're so insecure. So I think that when the ordinary Joe in the street sees somebody who's been on telly, and don't forget, then, like you said, 8 million people watching. There were only like 5 channels. Now, people are streaming themselves. Everyone, some people don't even watch Hollyoaks or Brookside or Corrie and everything. There's too much to watch. So the viewing figures are shooting right down. I mean, I choose what I watch and stream on Netflix or whatever, on Apple or whatever, don't you? So you have that much choice that therefore it's going to be spread wide, isn't it, the viewing? So I think you have to be a loyal follower of a soap. One of the fanatics. Like even my mum's 97, right? And she used to watch Corrie all the time. And in the end, she went, "Oh, sick of it. Sick of it now." She dropped off, and I know a few people have. So, I think now it's different. Soaps now, I think they struggle. I was in Emmerdale for 15 months. A couple of years back, and I loved every minute of that too, because that was multi-camera, and I wasn't used to it, and I used to think, after I'd done the scene, they went, "Okay, next," and I went, "Is that it?" And they said, "Yeah, we got it from every angle." I went, "Bloody hell!" I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
So, but that's a nice soap. I thought that was quite nice to work on. Yeah.
I think there's a part of me that thinks that maybe what we've got wrong is because we seem to have got rid of a lot of studios. And we also got rid of rehearsal, and we got rid of multi-camera. And because of doing that, of course, everything costs a bloody fortune to shoot now. So there isn't the money to make the amount of stuff, which means that young actors, of course, the work's pretty thin on the ground now, I suppose.
Very thin. My son's a stand-up, and he's an actor, and he writes. So he's got all these things. He writes for Munya Chihuahua. I don't know if you know who he is. He's an influencer on Instagram. A guy from Zimbabwe, he is. And my son writes for him, all his satires and stuff. So he does that. He's also an actor, struggling, and he writes. So, and he's got all this talent, but he's struggling.
Yeah, it's where to put it. But I think we need some, back to the old subject of funding again, probably, isn't it?
It is, yeah, funding.
Strange, isn't it? Because the soap used to be so good. I remember saying to somebody the other day, if you think of sheer terms of days' work in your career, the most successful actor of all time is probably Ken Loach.
Very much so. Yeah, you're right. Because
Ken Barlow.
How long's he been in that?
Since 1960. Yeah, November 1960. He's been in ever since.
My God in heaven, that's amazing.
Yeah, he did the audition and said he'd do 6 weeks. Well, here we are back in the shed. Our rambles for now are over. And John McArdle, who I remember sat there cross-legged watching how we used to live.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for rambling with us. Thank you.
Oh, it's fantastic. We're listening to you two guys as well. You're very welcoming, easy to get on with. It's great. Fun.
Thank you, mate. Really, it's honestly, it's been an absolute privilege. So thank you very much for coming along to the Rambling Club. And of course, thank you to everyone at home for listening. And we hope that you enjoyed this week's meeting of the Rambling Club.
The club meets every Friday, but if you'd like to get in touch in the meantime, here's how you can find your fellow members.
Tony's official website is at www.tonyslattery.com, and you can get in touch with us on the contact form on the website.
We're on Twitter at Slattery Live. Please feel free to use the hashtag TSLC to discuss any of this week's topics.
I'm on the burning remnants of Twitter at the moment, at Paul Carmichael V, but you can find me on Blue Sky, which I think is a lot nicer, and you can also find Slattery Live there as well.
And Tony also has an old-fashioned Facebook group at www.facebook.com/group/Tony Slattery, which I believe is something that he has in common with our guest president.
Yeah, we have through Facebook or Instagram if they want to.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And so if people want to join the Rambling Club for themselves, of course, they can head along to www.patreon.com/Slattery Live. The club's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we'd be delighted to welcome you. There's lots of interesting new perks there. Plus, there's a brand new podcast exclusive to Patreon every 2 weeks, which is a Rambling Club with myself, Allan, and lovely Mark, Tony's partner. So head over to www.patreon.com/Slattery Live and have a look there.
And if you've enjoyed us talking to guest president John McArdle about his time in Australia and extraterrestrial worlds, why not go to wherever you get your podcasts from and leave us as many stars as there are in the Australian flag?
Oh, there we go. He's very good, you know. So we will be back next week for another ramble at 5 to 5. And until then, it's a goodbye from myself, Paul Carmichael. It's a goodbye from my colleague, Mr. Allan Lear.
Goodbye.
And it's a goodbye from our very special guest president, Mr. John McArdle.
Goodbye.
You have been listening to Tony Slattery's Rambling Club with our special guest president, John McArdle. He was accompanied by Stephen Fry as the voice of the bingo machine. Acting President McArdle was assisted by Paul Carmichael and Allan Lear. The music was composed and performed by Michael Livesley and Andy Frizzle. Silly voices are by Michael Livesley and the show's concept is by Paul Carmichael. Our producers are Stuart Morris and Alan Dybing, and the show's researchers is Sola Carmichael. The show's producers are Erica Leah and Mark Hutchinson, and the program was edited by Harry Carmichael. The series executive producer is Mark Strickson. Tony Slattery's Rambling Club is a Funfinitol production.
Goodbye, and thank you for listening.